Hey, welcome back to another Hebrew lesson. We are in lesson number 22. And this week we'll be learning about the Hebrew letter Shin. It makes the SH noise, a sh noise, Shin. And it's just like our letter from last week, which was the Sin. It's the same shape, except the dot is on the right side. So depending on where the dot is, it can be two different letters. It can either be Sin with an S noise, or it can be Shin with an SH noise. But this one is Shin. This is actually the more common one. And one of the most famous words that begins with the Shin is a verb that you'll see all the time in the Hebrew Bible. This is what it is. This is Shema. Shema. This means to hear. When someone hears something, use the word Shema. It can also mean to listen, to understand, or to obey. So it kind of has a few different meanings, but most commonly it's to hear, when someone hears something. And this is the perfect version, the perfect form. Remember, we started learning verb forms last week, and we're going to keep learning. This is the most basic form, the perfect. It's usually past tense. He heard is how you would write this. He heard someone speaking. And I want to teach you a second form, which is the imperative. Imperative is a command. When usually it's like a parent, or a lot of times it's God speaking to his people, they'll use the imperative form. They command their people to do something. So here it would be Shmo. Shmo. This means hear or listen. A lot of times God tells his people, hey, listen to me, listen to what I have to say, or hear me. This is the command. If you're telling someone what to do, listen. This is different. This is just when someone does the action of hearing. You use the perfect form. So two different forms that are a little different. And we're actually going to look at a verse with the imperative form right now over at the desk. So our verse today is Deuteronomy 6:4, and this is one of the most famous verses in the Hebrew Bible. This is actually a prayer that Jewish people will pray before bed or at synagogue. This is a very common prayer, probably the most common prayer from the whole Hebrew Bible, and it's pretty cool to read it. This whole chapter is actually very interesting if you ever want to read Deuteronomy chapter 6, but very short, cool little verse here. Starts with our word of the week. So this is what it says. Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohim Adonai Echad. Very short, very simple. So Shema, that is an imperative command. So this is Moses speaking to the people of Israel. He is saying, hear, he's commanding them, hear, listen. Yisrael, Israel. So listen, Israel. Hear, O Israel. Adonai, which is the Lord. It also Adonai means the Lord, but this is actually the holy name for God, which is Yahweh. So it says, listen, Israel, the Lord, Eloheinu. Our verse of the week is Deuteronomy 6:4. It's one of the most famous verses of the Hebrew Bible. And this is actually a prayer that Jewish people will pray right before bed or in the morning or at synagogue. It's probably the most famous prayer from the Hebrew Bible. And it's really cool for us to read it and see what's going on. I recommend read the whole Deuteronomy chapter 6. It's a very cool chapter. This is Deuteronomy 6:4, really short, cool verse. It begins with our word of the week. It says, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Very quick, very easy. So from the top, Shema is an imperative. Remember I told you earlier, which means it's a command. And the command is listen, hear. Listen, Yisrael, Israel. So listen, Israel. Then it says Adonai, which means the Lord, and it's what the Jewish people fit in there, but it's actually the holy name, Yahweh. So it says, listen, Israel, the Lord, Eloheinu. Elohim means God, and Henu means our, so it's our God. The Lord, our God, Adonai, the Lord, Echad, is one. So put it all together, it says, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, O Israel, the Lord, our God, the Lord is one. So there you go, very cool verse there. Deuteronomy 6:4, talking about God being one and being the God of Israel. So you can check that out for yourself. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.